friends. Once again, I'm back with you all with another one exciting lesson for learning purpose. I believe the earlier sessions we have conducted that was really helpful for you all. If you are having any doubt regarding your earlier lessons, please put your comments in the drop box, the comment box, I mean. So definitely I'll revert back, and in that way we can create the bonding and understanding of the lessons, future lessons as well will be very clear to all of us. Now today we are presenting another one very interesting topic in our field of hospitality, that is hotel management. That is the concept of food cost control and menu pricing strategies. Now the word food cost, whatever I have seen, not always very clear in the mind of the students in a learning phase. And whenever they are in the industry, then it takes some time for them to understand exactly what the subject is. Now we all know that in any business, cost is one of the prime factor. Whenever you are producing something, definitely cost is incurred in that, and whenever you are selling that product to the market, you are earning some profit against that. So obviously your intention will be that somehow to minimize the cost, however without compromising with the product. You are not going to reduce the cost by compromising the product quality. Quality will remain the highest possible level. Cost will be minimized in a possible way so that your profit will be maximized. That is the concept of any business wherever we are doing some kind of production. Now today we'll first discuss about the food cost control and their menu pricing strategies. It is believed that chefs are managers and must be able to control food cost in the kitchen. And those who are unable will be out of the job very quickly. But controlling cost is everyone's responsibility, and the chef must convey this message to their culinary team. So, without wasting further time, let us proceed. Today our agenda will be to discuss about the cost concept and types of cost. What is the cost control and control cycle? We'll clarify those areas. Defining food cost and elements of cost. That also we are going to discuss in detail. And finally, the menu pricing strategies. I'll give you a very simple outlook of that menu pricing so that you can create the concept in your mind. First thing, the concept. What is the goal of any business? Obviously, we will say profit, and I'll also say the same. To earn a good profit, so keeping the cost at a minimum while selling at the right price and providing a good product. Mind that good product is what the operator should aim for. That is the concept of any business. Then what is the cost? What is the concept in our mind about the cost? The expense to a hotel or restaurant for goods or services when the goods are consumed or the services are rendered. That is the entire meaning of the cost. So whatever goods you produce, whatever services you provide, which are consumed or service is again felt by the customer, then definitely the cost is whatever is there, that is known as the cost. There are different types of costs available. We normally say fixed costs, variable cost, semi-variable cost, controllable and non-controllable costs. Now we'll clarify them one by one, starting from the fixed cost. What is fixed cost? Normally it is unaffected by changes in sales volume. So whatever sales volume is increased, fixed cost will remain same. It won't proportionately increase or increase with some amount. It is unaffected. Said to have little direct relationship to the business volume. So whether your business volume is higher or reducing or moderate, whatever, it is basically not connected with that. It is absolutely separate. All fixed cost changes over time. We are saying that it is not directly related to your volume of sales. However, it is not fixed forever, for eternity. It is fixed only for a specific period of time. Fixed does not mean static or unchanging. It will change, but over a long period of time it will change. Second one is variable cost. It is directly related to the business volume. Volume of business goes up, variable cost will be also higher. Directly variable costs are directly linked to the volume of business. So both are very much well connected, well proportionately connected. Consumption of food and beverage in the hotels is directly related to the volume of business it does. So whenever you are having higher occupancy in hotel, guests are dining in the restaurant, they are consuming, they are also giving a room service order. So whatever is more order, more volume of business, and your variable cost also becoming higher proportionately. What is semi-variable cost then? It is the payroll cost, has both the fixed element and the variable element. It is known as a semi-variable cost. Payroll cost, it has got two elements attached. One is the fixed element, other one is the variable element. It is known as a semi-variable cost. What does it mean? It means that a portion of it changes with short-term change in business volume and another portion does not. So we are having payroll. One part is fixed, that will be there. Other part is variable depending on the volume of business. You may happen that you have to employ some extra staff for a particular to meet a particular commitment of business, or you may have to give some overtime or extra wages for the volume of productions which is related to the extra volume of business. So it is partially fixed and partially flexible. That is why it is known as semi-variable. What is controllable cost? Controllable costs are those that can be changed in the short term. Cost of food and beverage can be changed in several ways. Portion size, changing the ingredients, or by changing both. Cost of labor required to produce such. These are all controllable. You can always control. Certain fixed costs are also controllable, like advertising and promotions, utilities, repairs and maintenance, administrative and general expenses. These are coming under controllable cost. Then what is non-controllable cost? These are which cannot normally be changed in the short term. Controllable costs are changing in the short term. Non-controllable costs are not changing in a short term basis. What are those? These are usually fixed costs like rent, interest on a mortgage, real estate taxes, license fees, depreciations, etc. These are coming under non-controllable costs. What is cost control? Now we see that earlier we have learned about different type of cost. Now unless and until you are controlling your cost, it will ultimately have direct effect on your profit. So you have to always keep your good tracking on the cost control system. It is basically identifying the and reducing the business expenses. Why? To increase the profit. And how we can do that? Start with proper budgeting. You should have a budget. Any event, any work you are going to take up, any responsibility you are going to take up related to business, definitely it should have a budget. Now your budget will be based on certain things. Today we are not going to discuss about budgeting style, how it is done. We are going to discuss about certain parameters are set in front of you and your expenses will be within that. Then only you can increase or maximize your profit. Now, the business operators compares the actual financial result with the budgeted expectations. So you have budgeted certain thing depending on certain parameters. Now your actual business is conducted and now we want to compare both. Once you are comparing and observing certain deviations, then definitely you can control those areas, tighten those areas. So automatically your business will be in right track. If actual cost is higher than the planned one, the management needs to take action on those areas that we have just now discussed on that. So that's why you need a budget, analyze your business, find out the areas and take control measure on those areas so that your business is in right track. What is control process? It is a series of coordinated activities that helps managers ensure that the actual results of operations closely match the planned results. So before we conduct any business, we plan. Then accordingly the business runs. Now once the result come out, you compare the financial result with your actual plan. If you are having different stages in between. So every stages can be controlled properly to get the best result. Let us see the demography. This is your control cycle. You can see here the control cycle. Then start with the establishing the standards. So first you establish your standards that this is your potential, this is your budget, this is your thing, this is the ultimate outcome of the dish or the product. It will be garnished like this. Whatever is the cost, it is pre-calculated. Everything is done. The standard is set. That is the first stage. Second stage is measure the actual results. Once the business is in running process, you have already established your standards. business run for some time, then you measure the actual results. And after measuring the actual results, then the next stage is compare actual to the standard. Now you are going to compare. Two things can happen. One is either you can see that your comparison having a great or major difference between these two. That means it is an indication your business is not running properly. Something is wrong somewhere. You have to micro level, you have to look into that area and tighten the control. Or if you see that business results are fairly good enough, so that means it is acceptable. The result is acceptable to you. So we are getting two options. One is if your business is not running properly, then you have to take corrective actions. Now, corrective actions will be based on the results. If you see the deviation, then only the corrective actions will come. Or else, it will be straightway establishing standard. After comparing, you can run the business. So what is happening? I'll repeat once again. First, you are establishing the standard. Business is running now, operating. You are measuring the actual results. You are comparing it with the standard set by you before. If it is acceptable, you go on continuing with the business. If it is not acceptable, take the corrective measures. So what does it mean? You revisit your standards which is already set by you and take some corrective measures, reset the standards and put it again in action so that it will start running. So it is a cyclic process. We are starting from this point, establishing standards, then measuring the actual results. If the actual result is then it is compared with the actual budgeted results, the budgets actually, the standard set by you. Now we can get two areas. One is either it is acceptable, then business will run automatically. If it is not, then take the corrective measures. While taking the corrective measures, you can reset your standards, take some corrective measures and again put it into the business running situation. Once it will start running, again it will go in a cyclic order and it will go on like this. It will go on like this. That is the control process. While setting up these standards, you have to follow certain points in your mind that whatever standards you are setting and the system and the process you are setting on, that should be accurate, very close to the accuracy. Time blindness, that means at any point of time, you'll be able to get the results up to that stage. If you check, you'll be able to, your system will be able to give you the results, whether it is in right track or not. Objectivity. The system should have the objectivity. What is that? That is ultimately the profit and reducing the cost without damaging the quality of the product or the quality of your standard of services you are providing. Consistency. Every time it will be producing the same results. Your control system and process will be such that it will be able to yield the same standard results. So that is known as the consistency. Priority. Which task should be done first? Which one will be then next? So the priority wise, you have to set up the process, the steps. Your system will be such it should be cost effective. At the same time realistic, not something abstract. So no, you cannot attain the objective. So it should be realistic. Appropriateness, so that whatever is there required at that point, that appropriate control measures has to be implemented over there. Flexibility. Why require flexibility? So any moment you require a change, you can do the changes by resetting the standards. So that kind of flexibility has to be there in your system. It should be very specific. Suppose you want to control the portion cost, it should be such measures should be taken so that you can control the portion cost there. It should be very specific to the point and pinpointing the areas. Your process will be of such kind and acceptable to all. You have implemented a system which is a very heavy-headed system. Your staff cannot cope up with that. So automatically your system will not stand effectively. So you have to create one efficient planning process, control process, and run them very effectively once all these points are taken into considerations while planning your control process. Now we'll explain about food cost. One of the common costs we need to minimize because the cost of the food is flexible one, variable one. So naturally you have to minimize it so that you can maximize your profit. That is always the point of concern in any business. Now we want to define the word food cost. Food cost percentage is the total cost of the ingredients your restaurant uses to create each menu item compared to the total food sales over a specific period of time. I'll elaborate. There are 2-3 words which has to be made very clear. First of all, food cost is the cost of the raw materials which is incurred for the production of a specific dish over a specific period of time. And here you can see the definition is always starting with food cost percentage. Now 2 points we can see out here. One is food cost percentage and a specific period of time. Why we need to explain the food cost in the terms of food cost percentage? Because it is very easy to understand. If I say that your food cost, yesterday it was 30% and today it is 35%, then you can easily see there is a change, a percentage. But if I say yesterday your cost of the food was 25,000, now it is 28,000. You won't be able to understand that whether your cost has increased or not, because it is directly, percentage means it is directly related with the volume of sales. When I say 35% food cost, that means 35 rupees is the material cost when your selling price is 100 rupees. So if I say 35 rupees is the food cost, then you don't know what is the selling price. That means if you sell that product, how much will be coming from the market, from the client, that you don't know. So try to understand this point very specifically. Food cost is always expressed in terms of percentage so that it will facilitate you to understand the exactly how it is going in relation to the volume of business or the sales. Whereas a simple denomination of money won't be able to guide you in that way over a specific period of time. Why? Because it is the food cost for today, food cost yesterday, food cost for the last month. You cannot say food cost, it cannot be a specific percentage remain the same for the entire period of the business. It will fluctuate. Business volume will change, cost of the raw materials will change, overheads will change. So naturally your profit will also change. If I mention a specific period of time, so the report will become very specific and transparent in front of you. You will be able to understand that yes, yesterday the food cost was 30% and today it is 35%, though my volume of sales did not increase in that way. Why the food cost has increased from 30 to 35%? So that is, the report will help you to analyze it further on certain areas. That's why always food cost is expressed in terms of percentage, and also it is always mentioned that it is for a specific period of time. It can be today or to date. Cost control is the guidance and regulation of cost of operations. It is not aimed at cutting cost but cutting waste. Very valid and important point. Cost control does not mean that cutting the cost, but it is basically reducing the waste. Because whenever you are purchasing something, and if the wastage is too much out of that, then ultimately you are basically losing the business. The outcome of the product is less. If I give you one example, that if you get 1 kilo of mutton from the market and then clean it, trim it, discard certain areas which is not wanted, cannot be served to the guest. So for that already you have paid some money. Now if I am a very unskilled worker, it may happen that while doing that task of cleaning, trimming and discarding some unwanted part, I have not done that job very efficiently. So ultimate yield out of 1 kilo of mutton will be standard, maybe it is 900 grams. But in case of me, because my skill is not up to the standard, it may come down to 800. So I'm losing 100 in between. So it is basically, the idea will give you that how to reduce the waste. Automatically your cost will be reduced. Why we need to know about food cost? Why we require to know? Firstly, it determines your profitability. You will understand that you are making a profit or not. Lower food cost means higher the profit. It will help you for proper menu pricing and also menu engineering. Menu engineering means it is also a vast area. We'll discuss it in our future lesson. Whatever menus are there in your menu card, all the items are not equally popular to the guest. Some of them are very popular. Some of them are moderately popular. Some of them are very costly, but they are giving high potential of profit. So you have to give your analysis on those areas. Accordingly, you add, reduce, or go for some research work on your menu. So that is basically the insight of menu engineering that we are going to take up in our coming lessons. Food cost, it is not what you spent on food. It is not exactly we are talking about what we are spending on food. It is basically giving the best result out of minimizing the waste. Now we'll talk about the cost structure or the elements of cost. Whenever you are having a particular selling price, the components of the selling price goes as like this. First one is cost of raw materials, which is known as the food cost, then the labor cost, then fixed cost, non-fixed cost, and finally our net profit. So you can see out here that if you add on all these costs together, ultimately you arrive to your selling price. What is there in selling price? Cost of raw materials, that is known as the food cost, labor cost, fixed cost, non-fixed cost, and net profit. We break it further. Let us see. What is kitchen profit? Kitchen profit is the selling price minus food cost. Kitchen profit is just a management term we're going to use. That means this is your selling price. Cost of material is this. If you minus cost of raw materials from your selling price, whatever is remaining, that is termed as your selling price. Sorry, that is your kitchen profit. Kitchen profit is also termed as a gross profit. And from the gross profit, we'll arrive to net profit, that is selling price minus food cost. LC stands for labor cost, FC stands for fixed cost, and NFC stands for non-fixed cost. Once you subtract these four elements from your selling price, whatever is remaining, that is your net profit. So this is a selling price. Out of that, we are deducting cost of raw materials, food cost, then labor cost, then fixed cost, non-profit cost. Once you minus these four elements from selling price, whatever is remaining, that is your this green zone, that is the net profit. Now food cost can be divided into two parts. One is the plate cost, other one is the period cost. What is the plate cost? It is the cost of the plate by the sales price multiplied by 100. That is the food cost, or here it is termed as the plate cost. A particular dish, the items are given, garnishes are given, accompaniments are given, that is the complete plate. It has got a selling price. And to produce that plate, you have some cost incurred for that. So cost of the plate divided by sales price of that particular dish multiplied by 100 will give you the food cost or a plate cost. That is one way. Another one is the period cost, which is further called as COGS formula. COGS stands for cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. This is your opening inventory plus new purchase minus closing inventory is the usage. Suppose opening inventory, you have 10 kilos of chicken. For the day's business, you have purchased another 5 kilos of chicken. So total is 15 kilos, that is your usage for a particular party. And then total usage divided by sales multiplied by 100, the cost of period cost or cost of the food in that particular period. That is, period is today. Today's consumption is, I have used this. So I have mentioned about one example with chicken. You are having series of ingredients. You cost down for total party. These are the indent. This is the inventory, opening inventory, then purchase. We have purchased these or got from the store. Then the closing inventory, that is the total usage. At the end of the party, once you balance it, you will find out this result. Once you come out with the actual usage, divided by the sales out of that party, multiplied by 100 is the period cost of that particular time frame. So this is the two way we calculate plate cost and the period cost. Now, there is a one more factor which is known as a Q factor. What is that Q factor? You'll see one thing, that whenever you visit a restaurant, or you have noticed and experienced that whenever you order a plate, the plate does not come only with the food. Whenever you are asking for a simple fried fish, it comes with some condiment sauce, French fries, minimum of this kind it is served. Maybe salads in some other areas. So all these things are served together. That is a composite fried fish in the style of that particular organization. But then the cost of this salad, French fries, condiments and other sauce, say tartar sauce supplied, how that cost will be calculated. For that, Q factor is there. Q factor says it is the cost of anything extra that is required in the production and service of the menu item. So for the fried fish, you require these and these and these to complete the plate. So that has to be costed properly. These include complementary items like bread, butter, even salt and pepper, and like many other things are there. So how to calculate the cost? Typically, the thumb rule is that Q factors add about 10% to the food cost. If fried fish production according to the recipe, the cost is this, then to that cost will add 10% more to get that Q factor done. So whatever accompaniments and other small things will be served along with the product, that is coming under Q factor, which is maximum 10% to be added to your cost of the dish. That is known as Q factor. It's a very, very important point while costing a menu and finally calculating the price of the product. After calculating your food cost, if you see that it is less than 30%, then there is a point of smiling. Normally the standard is it will be 30% or little less than that. If your food cost by chance it's beyond 30%, then it is a point of concern for you. The potential food cost should be between 25% to 30%. That should be the standard. It means 25% to 30% means if 30 rupees is the cost of the food material, then the selling price of the product will be 100 rupees. That you try to remember as a catch line. 25% food cost means 25 rupees is the cost of raw materials against which the selling price is 100. Very simple. Now COGS formula can be used to determine period cost for any category in your food outlet. In your food outlet, there are many categories of things you are serving, like food cost, beer cost, wine cost, liquor cost, and merchandise cost. And every time, make sure that you are comparing the correct category purchase and inventory to correct category sales and period. So whenever you are calculating food cost, you have to think about the sales of food only. Whenever you are talking about beer cost, you have to think about the beer cost and beer sales only. Like that, you have to take each category and accordingly you calculate selling price and cost. Basic tools for food cost control. You can see we are having 4 quadrants out here. Number 1, standard purchase specification. We'll discuss in detail in the coming days on standard purchase specification. Number 2 is standard recipe. Standard yields, that is number 3. And number 4 is standard portion control. So in your food cost control system, you should have these 4 control areas. Standard purchase specification, that means whenever you are purchasing a product, you should clearly mention what will be the standard of the product you are going to purchase from the market. Your vendor, the supplier, should know that. If I need a tomato, what should be the outer color of the tomato? What should be the standard weight of each tomato? And in 1 kg, how many pieces will come out? All these specific things are to be listed and informed to the vendor. That is known as purchase specification. That is applicable for all raw materials you are purchasing. Standard recipe, through trial and error, and according to the standard of your hotel and restaurant, you develop your standard recipe. That means to produce a particular dish, you are having a very written guideline where you mention all your standard ingredients, quantity, number of portions to be produced, what will be the standard garnish, what is the cooking time, what will be the garnishes, and for how many portions it is to be served. Everything your standard recipe will tell. So today I am working, tomorrow someone else will be working in my place. Standard recipe will remain fixed, and that has to be followed very strictly. Then only you can compare whether your deviation from the recipe is happening or not. Standard yield. Standard yield is also, I've mentioned the example already. Suppose 1 kg of mutton you have purchased, and you are going to simply prepare a curry cut out of that mutton. And curry cut, you won't be able to discard. It is not a boneless one with bone. So you know how much percentage will be deducted while fabricating it for the curry cuts or for the biryani or for any specific preparations. Every time I take 1 kilo of mutton leg and prepare the same, almost same quantity will come out after first fabrication, discarding the trimming, discarding the unwanted elements, the bones little bit, the bony part which is not edible. So standard yield is also a series of tests will be done in your butcher shop, and then the standard yield will be fixed and finalized. Then standard portion control. Whenever you are serving, it is not that at your will you will serve. This guest is looking good, so more food. This guest is not, that behavior pattern of the guest is not good, so less food. No, it is not. You have to have different tools and guidelines. Through that, everybody will get the same portions, because all of them are paying the same for the same food. So portion control is very important, and we'll discuss all these 4 areas in future classes. Now let us see the food cost control cycle. You can see this cycle is visible in front of us. Now food cost control cycle. First stage is menu planning. You have to do menu planning. Your control starts from menu planning. Then it is forecasting. Forecasting about your business, how much you are going to do. Then purchasing. Depending upon the forecasting and menu planning, you go for purchasing the raw materials. Then receiving them. At the time of receiving, you must have a proper purchase specifications. Accordingly, you judge, clarify, compare, and accept the product. Storing them properly. perishable, non-perishable, or the food materials to be kept on countertop. The food material should be refrigerated immediately. All these things should be stored properly. If it is not properly stored, there will be wastage unnecessary, and wastage means your cost will increase. Our ultimate aim is to reduce the cost, to minimize the wastage. Then issuing. While issuing also you should be very careful. If I require 1 kilo, 1 kilo will be issued only, not less or not more. You should have a proper storing system for that. Then the actual production. During the production of the food also, you have to always look as a chef that wastage is minimum. It's cooked at the right temperature level, cooked at right environment by using a proper methods. All these things are standardized, so that has to be followed very strictly. Then service, same thing, same guidelines. Selling of the product, and finally food cost analysis against the sales. The report will be generated. How much you have sold, or the business has, how much you have received the money, what was your material cost, what are the other costs involved. Then from out of that, what is the net profit? Is analysis. And if you see that net profit is less because only flexible area is your food cost is increased or material cost has increased, then definitely you have to control the area. Now, whenever you are going to control the area, you have to look for 4 standards: whether your purchase specification was right, whether your standard recipe is followed, whether your standard yield is practiced or not, and then standard portion control is utilized or not. All these 4 tools there in your hand, you can check in micro level in every area, and that will give you the result. This is the entire cycle. Now, after all these, we'll go to the menu pricing strategies. Now, today we'll just give you a very brief outlook of menu pricing strategies. First one is cost plus method. This is what cost plus pricing involves: adding a markup to the cost of the goods and services to arrive at a selling price. That means your cost is there, you add one markup to that, and then your selling price will come. I'll elaborate that. Under this approach, you add together the direct material cost, direct labor cost, and overhead cost for a product, and add to it a markup percentage in order to derive the price of the product. It's a little misleading. Let us see this formula. So it is very simplified. Material cost plus labor cost plus overhead cost multiplied by, within bracket, 1 plus the markup amount, that is selling price. How this markup will come up? First of all, to get the gross profit, what is to be done? The revenue earned minus cost of goods sold that you are going to get in your hand. Then to calculate the markup, you have received the gross profit in an earlier stage, divided by COGS, that is cost of goods. That means gross profit divided by cost of goods sold is your markup. So I'll go back to this formula once again. Material cost plus labor cost plus overhead cost multiplied by 1 plus the markup amount. Markup amount is what? Gross profit divided by cost of goods sold. And once you compute this, you'll be getting the selling price, that is known as the cost plus method. Second one, market minus method. What is this? To determine the price of an item using the market minus pricing model, you start by looking at what the market will pay for the dish you are trying to price. That means you look at the other business houses, those who are selling the similar product, what is the price, the standard price in the market. Now you decide that we'll sell our product, same product, by reducing little price out of it, market minus. That means if it is sold in the market by 10 rupees, we'll try to sell our product by 8 rupees. Now 8 rupees is your fixed now. From there you back calculate and arrive to your material cost. If it is 30%, if you consider that your potential food cost will be 30%, so on the basis of 8 rupees you find out your material cost, and that will be your actual way of cost plus market minus calculations. I repeat once again, to calculate prices using the formula, you work backward from your target price to figure out the ideal recipe cost and then build the dish using ingredients that do not exceed the cost. You got my point? So in the market it is sold at 10 rupees. Your authority have decided that you will be selling it by 8 rupees. Same product. If the 8 rupees is the selling price, then find out your food cost and try to restrict the cost within that rupees only. So let us consider for the timing 30% will be the food cost, selling price. So 2.40 is your actual cost. Now if it is the 2.40, you bring your total cost of the production of that particular dish or the product within 2.40 only and sell it by 8 rupees. That is known as the market minus method. That means you are trying to attract the customer by giving almost the same standard product by lesser price. Loss leader method, the third one. The practice of selling a small number of products either at or below cost. This is something very confusing once again. This is done on the assumption that buyers will purchase other products at the same time that are considerably more profitable. You have heard about the happy hours in restaurant, especially in the evening time, 4 to 6, during that period when the restaurant sale is very lean, then normally this kind of loss leader method is adopted. So main product normally sold in a lesser price, but you know that if they purchase this product, along with that they will go for this product and that product. That is the strategy of consumption. And those products which will be ordered along with this market leader product, that will give you more profit. So you are not reducing the cost of your French fries. It will remain the same. But maybe you are reducing the cost of your fish fry or any product made for snacks during that period of time, so that you are suffering some loss in this product, but you know this will be sold number of times more because of the drinks, snacks will be served, and at the same time allied items will be also served with that. So you are not doing any compromises with the allied items which will be ordered by the guest. You are only compromising in one market leading product, that is a fish fry or anything related to fish, if people are interested. So that is another loss leader method. So your leader, that item is the leader, fetching the customer because the customer will order some other materials as well, other product as well. So this is three different types of menu pricing method. One is the cost plus, market minus, and loss leader method are followed. We'll also have a very separate class in detail on these pricing strategies. So with this, we have crossed the river. We started with the concept and finished with the menu pricing strategies. Concept of the food cost is narrated, clarified, discussed at length. I hope that you have enjoyed the session. Now, let me understand your level of understanding. Definitely put your comments there in the comment box. Raise your question. Any queries, I'll definitely get back to you, give my reply properly. But you don't forget to subscribe the channel, like it, share it. This is there in YouTube, so naturally you can review this lesson again and again in future. And don't forget to put your comments there. Once again, thank you for attending this session, and we'll come back once again with another one very exciting lesson for you all very soon. Till then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.